emotive, powerful story that it does bring you to tears. In rehearsals, we were all crying. And it's not easy when mistakes are made and you have to own up to those mistakes. But more props to you, because that's what makes you a stronger person. And that's what makes you get up and go. So this is a no judgment zone, okay? This is a no judgment zone. So we've got a wonderful lineup for you. I'm just going to put the Facebook link in the chat. So if you are on Facebook, you can share it also with the world. So this is the book launch for KikiDee, KiDe Watson. It is what it is, surviving domestic violence. So now we can't start an event like this without blessing the space, without making sure everybody on here is protected. So I'm going to hand over to Pastor Ruth, who's worked closely as well with KikiDee. And I'm going to ask you to begin this event in prayer.
Okay, if we can bow our heads. Father God, we thank you for being with us so far. You know the journey that KikiDee has gone on with this book. We're thanking you for holding her hand. We're thanking you for those times as the footprint poems when she thought she couldn't continue on. Those times, Father God, you carried her in her arms. And now she's arrived at the destination today of being able to launch this book. It is what it is, surviving domestic violence. I pray your blessing on the book. I pray your blessing on KikiDee's life. I pray your blessing on everybody who is here today, who's attending this book launch. I pray that as we come to celebrate the book and we celebrate the journey so far, that you will send your angels to guard, guide, bless, and direct each one of us as we are here today. We pray that when we leave from here, that we will be able to see the journey that you have taken KikiDee on. And we know that this is just the beginning of the next phase of her life. This is my prayer in the name of your Son with thanksgiving. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so we are going to have some entertainment, but before we go there, I'm just going to get KikiDee just to come in and say hello and welcome you all. So come on in. I'll mute your mic first. There you go.
Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed right now. Oh my God. Professor Fred Zindi, nice to see you. Tracy, Tate, everybody. Oh my God, I can't see all of you. Mom, there she's just sitting down. Thank you, everyone. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed right now. I can't afford to break down yet. So thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Have you got your tissues?
I think I should go and get some. No, I'm not crying today.
No, we will end up more than likely.
Oh, before I go any further, Winsome,
yes.
I just wanted to say I wore this dress to match your hair.
Oh, thank you, my love. I appreciate it. Give us a stand up then. Let's see it. We can just see the top.
Yeah, you know.
Give us a twirl. Let's see it. Stand up, stand up. Oh, yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Red, gold, and green. All right, so would you like to introduce your sister and her song?
My beautiful sister, beautiful singer. She's going to sing a song today. She's got a voice of an angel. Tate, take it.
Okay, just want to say I'm so proud of you, big sis, and this is for you. Okay, the song is by Andrew Day, Rise Up. Okay. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round. You can find the fighter, but I see in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up and it out 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and do it all 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world at its feet and move mountains, to bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the pain. I'll rise up and do it all 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up and do it all 1,000 times again. For you, 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 for you. Thank you.
Wow. Mm. What an amazing voice you have. Wow, you know what? That song is really fitting because I think in life we have to rise up, right? When things go wrong, which we often will, in the roller coasters, never give up because Les Brown says, if you're in the gutter, if you look up, you can get up. So that song, I Rise Up, I only heard about that, I think, two months ago. I didn't even know who was the original singer. Like, I only found out about her two months ago because I hear it a lot. So what would you like to say to your sister today on this momentous occasion for her book?
I'd really like to say I am super proud of you. This is a great accomplishment, and you did this. You could do this, and we were all rooting for you. Super, super, super proud of you, and I love you 100%. Absolutely. Mwah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. And do put your details in the chat so we can follow you online. That was the lovely take with I Will Rise Up. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome. If you just joined, this is the book launch for KikiDee, KiDe Watson. It is what it is, okay? And we've just heard from her awesome sister to do a performance. If you've not been aware, I'm just going to read the back of the book just to give you an insight as to what it is. And it's a nice thick book, so it should take you a little time to read. So thousands of women are in prison because of crimes against or involving abusive partners. Women have suffered domestic violence for years in silence. This remains the same until one day the situation gets out of hand. This is the tale of Nicolette Wallace in her own words, explaining in graphic detail some of the abuse she has suffered at the hands of her ex-partner. You are my wife. God gave you to me. You just don't know it yet. I will always be lingering in the background, he always reminded her. She felt alone and let down by the system, which should have been there to protect them. So she turned to alcohol. This action led to a deadly event that claimed a life and changed so many lives forever. We are all touched by this story. Get your tissues out. Okay, we have a special guest coming up. This is Professor Fred Zindi, and you, my sir, have the floor for the next 15 minutes. Please take it away.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes,
Can you
we
hear
can.
me? Yes, great. Well, I feel greatly privileged and honored to be part of KikiDee Watson's book launch today. For the sake and case of easy reference to this, I shall call her Nicolette Wallace, just Nicolette. And the book is simply titled, It Is What It Is, Surviving Domestic Violence. There's an aphorism that the reader may want to contemplate before beginning to read this book. The story is in 9 chapters. It's very compelling, powerful, and yet painfully stunning. The challenge it delivers so crisply is the fact that so many men abuse their girlfriends. It does nothing to diminish the fact that each act of abuse is a tragedy. As William Shakespeare, the great British writer, put it, any play that tells the story of a seemingly heroic figure whose major character flaw causes the story to end with tragic downfall is indeed a tragedy. And this is what the reader gets to understand at the end of this story, which has been written with so much energy and passion. Becoming an accomplished and inspirational author was the least of my expectations from KikiDee, given her background as a legal secretary and as an actress. This harrowing story, well, I don't want to be telling you the whole story again, which has been described by our MC, which is at the beginning of the story. But I'll just mention some of the highlights of this harrowing story, which begins with Nicolette's desire to go to a New Year's party at Mendoza's house with Roderick, her former husband, or her first husband, and her 2 children, one called Angel and the other one called Star. Angel is afflicted, but the husband at first was unwilling to go to this party because it would reveal some of the skeletons in his cupboard. But eventually he was persuaded to go. It was at this party that Roderick saw the interest. Nicholas, a friend who was at the party, also at the party, showed to his wife. And he soon started a fight with his wife and decided to go back home alone. Nicolette saw this as bizarre behavior. After this incident, Roderick's mental health deteriorated and started to accuse his wife of cheating on him. He decided to leave the family after 10 years of marriage. Nicolette started to seek solace in alcohol, and she also ended up with an alcoholic boyfriend called Nick, the same Nick that was at the party, who was also an unemployed asylum seeker who became a sexual partner. Nick soon became abusive First of all, by stealing her money, and secondly, by stealing her car and deciding to be in control of Nicolette's situation. Both of them, unfortunately, had entrenched alcoholism. As a result, Nicolette found it hard to manage the children, especially Angel, who was autistic to the extent that she got into trouble. Nicolette got into trouble with the police and social welfare after Angel had run away a few times. After a long, arduous, and painful process of trying to reclaim her life, Nicolette found herself in physical and psychological abusive state with her new boyfriend as the domestic abuse poured on her began to affect her mental health. Alcohol had made Nick selfish, violent. He became more possessive, jealous, and controlling. Nicolette had become his property. His alcohol consumption was out of control. He had become paranoid and mentally unstable. He started going through text messages in Nicolette's cell phone, asking about the people he did not recognize. He started hitting her with his crutch. This is after he had injured himself in an accident, and started calling her a whore. He had become a total barbarian. If Nicolette went to the shops for 15 minutes, she had to account for how long it took her to go to the shops and back. This led to verbal attacks, abuse, and at times a shove against the wall. Nicolette consoled herself by believing that Nick loved her and was merely under stress due to his other situations, which included his son with another woman and immigration problems. She was often assaulted in her own home with two vulnerable children in the house, watching all the abuse until she applied for a protection order. Without going into too much detail, the story ends in tragedy when Nick was involved in a car accident in a BMW in which Nicolette was driving, and a post spewed through the windscreen of the BMW. Nicolette was arrested later and jailed for driving under the influence of alcohol. Her two children suffered minor injuries, but were taken to social welfare. This is indeed a tragedy. This must-read book is definitely pregnant with emotions and creative thoughts which should inspire everyone who reads it. And as the MC said earlier on, you should have your tears pouring down with your tissues next to you. Like I said before, KikiDee is a gifted writer, and this deeply personal story unfolds in beautiful prose with gut-wrenching vividness. The story is original, it's moving, it's riveting, it's unpretentious, it's captivating, it's powerful, and I wish I had more words to describe it. But it is what it is. I thank you, everybody. Let's celebrate. It is book launch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. That was very compelling, very heartwarming. You definitely have put into context the struggles that I'm going to call her KikiDee, because otherwise I'm going to get confused. I've been calling her all the way KikiDee, so I'm going to continue to call her that. You definitely have put into context an overview of what's happened. What advice would you give to anybody as an elder, to anybody who has had a difficult situation or is still facing a difficult situation? What advice would you give to keep steadfast in this journey? Hold on, let me get you to unmute yourself.
So I didn't pick the last question you're asking there.
So as an elder, what advice would you give to someone going through struggles in their life?
Well, as we know, KikiDee has survived the worst. And the only way out of that now is just to carry on with her life in a positive manner. And she's realized some of the mistakes that happened during her life, which by now she should be mature enough to understand what life is all about. And the way to go forward is just to carry on and avoid all the negative things in their life.
And definitely, I do see another book coming from her. Would you agree?
I understand she's got a series of books coming out, and looks like Kiki is going to become a big novelist. And I'm thinking that she sell at least 1 million copies each time a book is out.
Amen. Amen. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Fred. Thank you so much for coming online.
Thank you.
Anything is possible, I believe, in these times. And give me a second. Okay, cool. And I just want to share a link in the chat for anybody struggling or knows anybody that is going through alcohol problems, alcohol abuse, alcoholic, whatever it is. I'm going to put a link in the chat for Alcoholics Anonymous, because again, this is a trigger event, as I said to you before. So we want to make sure that you're all getting supported, but it's not just for Alcoholics Anonymous. There is also a link for family and people that are dealing with somebody that might be an alcoholic, and it's always important to get support as well. And I am going to give a bit of an insight, because I had problems with marijuana, and I was a very huge marijuana smoker for many years. And I don't mind disclosing this because I feel like this is a safe space to share. And I just used to take the drug morning, noon and night. And I know that there's some people that's like, oh, it's a herb, it grows from the ground, it's not a drug. But what you've got to remember is that anything that alters your mind state is a drug. And it just had me. It was just all consuming, morning, day, night, driving, not driving, just high. Like I couldn't function unless I was completely stoned. Now, it's the same for an alcoholic. They can't function with day-to-day things of life happening, emotions, feelings, without getting smashed out of their head. But what I've learned in my experience, it's about acceptance. It's about processing. They call it a rock bottom. So when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up, you know? And it is based around the 12 steps tradition, and it's different for everybody. This is just how I became clean of weed. And 25th of July marks 5 years. I've not had a spliff, cannabis, nothing, not had nothing. And I say, glory be to God. You know, no addiction should be bigger than you. You shouldn't allow addiction, whatever it is, sex, gambling, weed, whatever it is, you shouldn't allow an addiction to be bigger than you. You have power over that. And I had to first concede to the fact that I was a weed head. I was just weeded out. I had to be broken and get to my bottom to say no more. Like I cannot go into my 40s just high all the time. Like, what about lung cancer? What about other things like that? So it was hard, because as a result, I turned to food for comfort, so I put on weight. But this is just life. And this is what I'm saying to you all. We all have our demons. We all have our skeletons in the closet. This is just the paint. This is the paint. This is the makeup. Way, book launch. But when you look beneath the surface, we all have scars. Just some people hide it better than others, you know? So I'm not judging anyone. That's my story. And it's a shame in some ways that, you know, I do have an addictive personality, but as the book says, it is what it is. So when we're going forward and we're dealing with people that have challenges around substance abuse or alcohol, I would implore you to show some empathy, because they are a sick person. They are a sick person that needs support and needs help, you know, and they can only help themselves as well. That's another aspect to it. So I just wanted to just disclose that, just to say, you know, you're not alone. You're not alone. It's just to the degree of how someone hides the scars of what's going on within their lives. Okay, so if you just joined, my name is Winston Duncan. I am a book confidence coach, and we are at the book launch of It Is What It Is, Surviving Domestic Violence. We are talking about serious subjects here. And I'm going to invite somebody who I hold very dear. You heard her a bit earlier on, but I think I spotlighted somebody else instead. So sorry about that. So, Pastor Ruth, are you there? Let me get you to unmute your mic. Hold on. I thought I made you co-host. Let me do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
So let's just talk from a spiritual aspect. When things are going wrong in our lives, what's the importance of spirituality, would you say?
I think it's interesting what you were saying at the end is acknowledging where we are. I think sometimes when people are going through, like, for example, we're going to be reading the story later of someone who's got a broken foot, so they've got crutches. When people are going through physical illnesses, you know, no matter what physical illness, it could be cancer, it could be diabetes, you know, we've got a whole list of physical illnesses, and people are there and they will support you when you're going through physical illnesses. But as soon as you say that you're going through mental health challenges, or you're going through addictions, or you're going through all of these other challenges in life, they will basically say, well, your faith isn't strong. When you're going through physical illnesses, they'll accept that you can go to the GP or the doctor and get help. But when you're going through these type of problems, they'll say you're not praying, your prayer life isn't strong enough. And it's about understanding that the body is made up of different parts. And because the body is made up of different parts, the same way we need to get support for physical illnesses, when we're going through emotional illnesses, when we're going through spiritual illnesses, when we're going through any illness, we need to make sure we get the right help. And sometimes that help may be that we go and get therapy. Sometimes that help might be we need to go and pray and have, like, you know, a long time with a pastor, sharing those inner things within ourselves that we wouldn't share to other people, because we know the pastor is bound by confidentiality unless what they're sharing is illegal, you know. So the same way, like with counseling, there's certain parameters that we have to abide by. But once you're not putting your life and someone else's at risk, then you've got to be that safe space that someone can actually come and share with you openly and honestly what they're going through. And I think that's, you know, so when you're going through that spiritual challenge, it's about making sure that you give the person that undivided attention. I'm not holier than thou. You know, sometimes if you're going to say that, you know, that you're going to put yourself above others, then they're not going to be able to open up to you. And sometimes you might be the only person that they can talk to.
You know what? That is just so spot on, because in actual fact, you know, I'm cross addicted, and one of my addictions, of which I won't disclose, it had me licked, and I didn't feel that for me personally that you know, the church or God could help me. I was just spiraling out of control, and it's so dangerous. It really is. It's so dangerous. And I think unless you're an addict, or unless you've got that addictive personality, you will never understand another addict, no matter how much empathy that you have. There is a craving, the phenomenon of craving that just is never ending for that thing, for that next hit. And it just goes on and on and on until, as you said, you reach the bottom and the bottom falls out. So let's just quickly touch on the support aspect of how you was able to support KikiDee in your pastoral role.
So I think for me it was interesting, because I said to KikiDee that as a pastor as well, we go through challenges. Sometimes people think that when you're a pastor that life is rosy. So this year for me has been a challenging year with my own personal challenges, and because I was home at the time, I was able to be available. Like if I was at work, I wouldn't have been able to be there to support KikiDee. And I very much believe that God allowed us to meet, because it's like the work I do, we hear a lot about the issues and families with domestic violence. And it was nice for me to be able to hear firsthand from a parent who's going through domestic violence, what it's like on the other side. Because I never actually met someone personally that's been in that space. So I think for me, it opened up this whole area in a practical way, talking to someone in there. And I think, you know, when KikiDee and I first met, obviously there's a trust barrier. It's like, you know, who are you coming into my space? But as we got to know each other better, she was able then to trust me, and we were able to talk to the extent that, you know, she will message me now and say, Ruth, I need to talk. And I'm able to support her in terms of where she is, and also in that spiritual journey, that, you know, that reconnection back to God at a deeper level. And I think that's what's been really good, that, you know, we've been able to connect on a spiritual level, reconnect in terms of, you know, working with her to get her book out, and just reconnect that, you know what, that I'm here for you in that space. And I think that's what we've been able to do over this journey.
And you've done that superbly well, and I do give you props for that, because it takes a certain soul, you know. And as addicts, and I can speak on this, I do have the authority on this area, as an addict or a person with an addictive personality, there is a hole in our souls. You know, they hear of that God-shaped hole, and that's what's missing. And we have these things to medicate, to anesthetize, to numb ourselves, because we don't want to feel who we are. We don't want to feel the emotions. We want to just block everything out, and we cannot deal with life on life's terms. So I think it's really key in going forward that, you know, it's important to speak, to share how you're feeling, even if it's over something small. I feel uncomfortable today. I'm not at ease. I feel anxious. I feel angry. You know, we have a range of spectrum of emotions, and it's okay to feel those feelings in order to heal, you know. And like I said, this is a no judgment space. We stand together, and I've put the link in there for Al-Anon, and Al-Anon is to help family members who need support for those who are suffering at the hands of alcohol. Because I tell you what, it can ravish a family. It doesn't just affect the immediate, it just, as you can see in the story today, it has a ripple effect. And let's just touch finally on, before you're going to read this excerpt of the book, let's just touch finally on the typesetting. You were the typesetter of this wonderful story that is somebody's journey, that is somebody's legacy, that is somebody's historical story that's going to get left on the planet. And what we have to do in life is find the beauty in the ugliness. Yeah. And in fact, there is no ugliness, only spectrums of beauty. So this is a journey. This is somebody that has sat down for the past 3 years. You know, KikiDee wanted to work with me and get coached by me, and she just became focused and diligent to do that. So just tell us a little bit about the typesetting process.
Oh, this book was, I'm going to share, KikiDee gave me permission to share this with you. So when we were going through, so as I said, I was typesetting this book, and normally when we're typesetting the book, it's really, really easy to typeset. And every time we were typesetting the book, we were coming through challenges. It wouldn't allow us to size the book the way that we wanted to size the book. And eventually I had to contact KikiDee and say to KikiDee, look, there's something not quite right with the typeset of this book. And when I spoke to her, she goes, it's the wrong book, the wrong in terms of the manual. And we went through, and as soon as we got the right manual, and she turned around and she said that you reached out to me. And that was the first time that her and I really had an in-depth conversation. And because we had that in-depth conversation, so through me typesetting her book, that opened up the avenue for us to talk, and not just talk about the book, but to talk about her spiritual journey. And I think sometimes that, you know, I was working on this project to typeset the book for her, to get the book ready so it could go to print. And I think sometimes when you're going through a book, yes, you have your manuscript, but you have to get it ready to go to print. And if it's not right and it's not in the right way, then there's going to be challenges later on. And, you know, as I said, I thank God that we were able to meet through me doing that task. That was where I was on the journey with her. And by typesetting her book and her opening up to me and sitting and having those conversations, then we were able to go on this journey. And I just want to say, you know, thank you to God for me being off. So I was at a difficult time in my life. And that difficult time in my life, I was able then to be a blessing to others. And sometimes I feel that when we are going through difficult challenges in our lives, and we're thinking, well, why am I going through this? Sometimes it may be that you're at that crossroad and at that point to have to be able to help someone. And I believe that that's where I was in this journey to help KikiDee where she is with this journey.
All right, so I do need to give a trigger alert. We are talking about It Is What It Is, and this is surviving domestic violence. So get your tissues ready. Over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to read the part of the book. I'm going to read the part of the book where Zindu talked about the crutches, so that you can see now when he was talking about that incident, what was it that took place? So it says, while he was injured, his crutches became a common weapon against me. 2 weeks after the Charlie incident, after several calls and several threats on his part to come over, I finally came in and went to visit him at the hostel in Birmingham. I asked Nina to look after the girls because I was not sure how things would turn out with Nick. All was well. I met him at the hostel and we went to buy a bottle of whiskey and Coke and sat in the park drinking and talking. It was fine until Charlie's name popped up again and others that I didn't know of. We argued, so I stood up to walk away and he followed me. He followed me all the way to the bus stop and hopped onto the same bus where we kept arguing, causing a right scene. I got off the bus and so did he. He was still in pursuit. By this time, I was no longer responding to him, but that didn't keep him quiet. Sometimes he would use the end of his crutch to poke me to get my attention. I managed to evade him when he stopped briefly to speak to some guy. Amongst the crowd, I could see him in a frenzy looking for me. I kept my eyes on him, but remained out of his sight. I had full view of the train station and the bus station, but was afraid to move into vision in case he spotted me. After a while, I could no longer see him, so he could have been anywhere. It had been there for over an hour, so I convinced myself by then that he must have got tired and returned to the hostel. I emerged slowly from my hiding place and began to walk carefully across the street to the train station, all the while looking across to see if he was still around. The coast seemed to be clear, so I took a deep breath and relaxed my shoulders. They were tense with fear. I reached into my handbag and took out a box of cigarettes. I looked for the lighter but couldn't find it. It was then that I noticed the gentleman standing next to me was smoking, so I politely asked for a lighter and he was kind enough to offer it. He too was waiting for a train to Leicester, so we engaged in casual chit-chat and soon my troubles were forgotten. I was going home to be with my children, whom I'd been talking to him about, when I felt a hard impact on my back, followed by an excruciating pain that travelled down my spine. This is why you were in such a hurry to get away from me? Everything happened so fast. The gentleman I was speaking to took off immediately after I was struck with the crutch in my back. I also, without much thought, ran towards the station entrance and down the stairs to my platform. I was overcome with astonishment. I could not comprehend what was going on. I was a stupor and I could not hold back the tears. I did not understand why Nick was behaving this way towards me, and yet each day he declared his love for me. He was so brazen to attack me in a public place in broad daylight. I drank whiskey the whole journey from Birmingham to Leicester. It was a weekend, so I know Nina would stay over and help me look after the children. I was in despair. I needed help. I needed to get away. But it seemed to be tangled a web of poison and love. But it seemed to be tangled in a web of poisonous love. It tasted deceitfully sweet, but it was extremely lethal. My heart was aching, and so were my bones and my flesh from the times I'd been struck hard with a crutch. When I went to use the train toilets, I looked in the mirror and I saw a visible lump on my temple, which I'd managed to hide so well from people by combing my hair to the front. Another reminder of the cruel reality I was living under. Nina was my best friend, to whom I told everything, but I did not tell her about the incident and others that came up after. If she was not there to witness it, I did not tell her. I was embarrassed and too ashamed. How had I allowed myself to be so weak and so manipulated? I had never been frightened of a human being the way I feared Nick. He had managed to mold me into his property that he could use and abuse. He made and changed rules as he went along. So just before I left the train, I fixed my hair and my face. When I got home, I pretended that I'd had an amazing time and that all was well, but deep down, I was dying. That's the end of the extract.
Okay, we're just going to just pause and just let that just sink in. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you very much. Very, very powerful. So we're just going to just let that sink in. It is what it is. Violent domestic violence. What page was that on, Ruth?
92 to the top of page 95.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to keep her any longer. We're going to get her to come on in. This is our author. It's her first time here. Please love and support on her. It's KikiDee, KiDe Watson. Come on in, come on in.
Come on in.
Get
You can do it. You can do this. You can do this.
Let me get you to unmute your mic. Hold on. All right, unmute your mic for me, KikiDee. Unmute your mic for me, honey.
Bring me tissue, please. Unmute.
Just press the unmute button. That's it. There, we've got her.
I apologize.
Hey, girl. Ooh, what are you apologizing
Hi,
for?
people.
Hey, girl. You know, tears are healing.
Yeah,
Every tear you cry,
it was part of the journey. It had to be
You're
part of the
healing.
journey.
you're healing. You're an author. How do you feel?
I don't know. It's too much. I mean, I'm better now, but it's just the buck ends here. This is it. I'm done. It's been a painful journey. This was a tragedy, okay? It affected so many lives, so many lives. It was like a big earthquake, massive, humongous earthquake. And even today, 7 years on, the ground is still shaking because it's still affecting some people. And it's so sad, you know, like Pastor Ruth was saying, like, you need to trust someone. That is very, very important, to have someone to listen, just to listen. Don't judge me. Don't give me advice. I just want you to hear my pain. That's all. Just listen. And it's very sad because, especially during this pandemic, I've known people who've committed suicide because of mental health. I've known that domestic violence has increased and it's getting worse. And the thing is, people are not talking. I used to cover, well, by the way, I'm not covering my face because I've been battered. No, I love big hair. Anyway, but people do that. Makeup, big hair, they walk on. Powerful women, they go through the same thing. Whitney Houston, Tina Turner, Rihanna, you know, and people that we don't know who are even more powerful. These are women with power, with their own money, with their own things in their own right, but they still go through the same thing. And yet they don't talk about it. But what we should do is to stand up and talk. It's very sad that tragedy happened. It was an accident, which was unintentional. Yes, there was negligence, but it was unintentional. But it was 5 years, 5 years, you know, of torture. And like I said, because you can't talk to anybody, my friend became the bottle. Yeah, I became KikiDee the drunk because nobody listens. I got into trouble because I actually got to a stage where I did not care anymore. A time where I lost everything. You know, when you lose a phone, you can replace a phone. When you lose a home, yeah, you know, you can get, you know, remortgage, whatever. But when you lose everything, when I say everything, I mean, when you've got nothing, how do you build yourself up? And when you've got nothing, when you look around, there is nobody. And you go deeper and deeper. It's only like Pastor Ruth was saying, and Winston was saying, the inner self. You've got to find yourself again. For me, it was my children. This book happened. This is a miracle. This is a miracle. I shouldn't even be here. I'm laughing, but this is a miracle. It's a miracle. I ask God every day, how come I'm still walking? How come I'm still talking? Maybe this had to be said. I don't know. But I think now I believe I do have a purpose. And I hope this book will touch people and can help other women to come out and speak. My phone numbers are on the banner. They're on the website. People can reach me anytime just to talk. Like I said, people just want to talk. Thank you.
Okay, so there's different layers to this, you know, and it's so interesting because when you named the book, It Is What It Is, I hear so many people saying, oh, it is what it is. It's such a familiar title, you know, and you've got one layer where you're a woman who has been domestically, who has suffered domestic violence, which is traumatic enough. Do you know what I mean? That's traumatic enough. Then you've got the role of being a mother and trying to keep the family together, trying to keep your girls safe. And then you've got this friend, which is in the bottle. And we have many different friends. But it's interesting because a lot of females do go out with partners that are abusive and they say, oh, but I love him. You know, and they get caught into the cycle of abuse, but he said sorry.
Yeah.
But he said he loves me.
Yeah.
And I guess what I want to touch on, there's a saying that is insanity is doing something again and again and again and again. And that kind of love is not the love that we require in our healing and our growth. So if someone is watching and going through, but he loves me, speak something into her life right now.
It's not love. Love doesn't hurt. Love is kind. Love is protective. Love doesn't beat you. You don't hurt someone you love. That's just it. That's just full stop. You don't hurt someone you love. That's it. So if he says he loves you and he beats you, you need to walk away. I know it's hard to walk away. I was there for 5 years, and people that know me, this will be a shock. This will be a shock that I stayed. I went through this. People that know me will tell you, no, not KikiDee Watson, but yes, like I said, it can happen to anybody. And the thing is, the abusers have a way of hiding it. You know, they hide it so well, like it becomes a game, you know, and they're always in charge. Once you're in tune with that game, they change the rules, you know, just to confuse you. But the signs are there. We know that the signs are there, but because, like you said, because he says he loves me. Many women say the same thing. He said he loves me. They all say it.
So let's flip it. Did you feel like alcohol loved you?
At some point, I actually wrote a poem about it as my friends. I named them one by one. My friend Whiskey, my friend Heineken, you know. But then I also said they were my friends for an hour or two. And then after that, I'm back. But for those 2 hours, I enjoyed them.
Back in your feelings. So it's like an instant gratification.
They're only your friend for 2 hours because alcohol is a depressant.
Yeah, so is weed. So is, you know, cannabis. And I often felt like marijuana was my husband because it was just me, the spliff, a cloud of smoke. I chose friends who would smoke and I could actively smoke. And I remember being in rooms whereby, you know, so as soon as I finish a spliff, I would light up the next one. And then someone would be saying to me, like, why are you rolling up? Just let the buzz be on you. Nice. Like, I'm just like, who are you talking to? Like, I'll roll up what I want to roll up. And it's that satiable hunger that is never really quenched until I could abstain from it. So I understand completely where you are with this. So tell us, what's the plan for this? Where is it going to go? How far do you want to take the book? Like, are we talking about foundations? You know, we can see your lovely banner. If you just sort of go like that, you can see your beautiful banner there. Absolutely amazing. So that can be at your event.
Thanks to you. I love it.
You're welcome. How far do you want to take this message, my sister?
To all 4 corners of the world.
So you want it to be a global?
Yes.
Because
this is a global problem. It happens everywhere.
What about a film? Would you be interested in turning this into a film?
If someone takes it on, most definitely. As long as I take the leading role, as long as I play Nicolette.
Actress, yeah, you'll do a very good job. We'll give you an Oscar. We will give you an Oscar for that job. Because again, we don't get much films on this subject or documentaries, especially from women of color. We are expected to be all right, put the hair on, put the makeup on, and just smile. And we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So we have to show empathy in this situation. So if you're online and you've got some way somehow of helping KikiDee to get this message out further, then please do so. Let's talk a little bit about the other books that you've got planned. Where are you going to be going with that?
Actually, the funny story is, this was not supposed to be the one that's out, but because I had this whole book, and I was going to agents and they kept telling me, your book is too big. I mean, there's no book that's, you know. So I said to myself, okay, the whole book missed chapter 28. So this was chapter 28. Chapter 28 could not go in the whole book because chapter 28 was too big to be in that book. So chapter 28 was going to be a book on its own. So that's when I came to you and you said, oh no, I mean, it's too long. You've got to cut it down. And I said, but I can't cut it down because it's a flaw. But then I said, but then 28 it was going to go on its own anyway. But then that's starting from the middle. So that's when we said, all right, let's do the 28 then. So this is actually starting from the middle. This is actually book number 3.
So start with book 1. Book 1 is what?
Book 1 is the early KikiDee.
So early KikiDee, first husband?
Not first husband. Very early.
So childhood KikiDee.
Childhood KikiDee. It's a transition.
Okay, so childhood KikiDee, book number 2.
It's I think the husband.
So it's about marriage, relationships.
Yes, relationships.
Book
It's
number
a flow.
3.
And then this one comes. What happens after this?
And then this is
That's the
final.
4.
So we got the end first.
No, there's one coming after this one.
And what's after that one?
The road to recovery.
So 4 books. You've heard it here first. 4 books. So, and I think that you made the right choice because I think when we talked, it was important to tell the message of surviving domestic violence because it was just so prominent, and writing can be such a cathartic thing in terms of healing. So I've put in the chat a link for you all to go on and get a copy of the book. It is available on Amazon. It is available on Kindle. So please go on and support. We are going to have a question and answer session, but we've got some of KikiDee's family members as well that are going to come on and share their messages of encouragement with her. And make sure you do have a box of tissues to hand, because it's just one of those things where you might get a little bit tearful and you might get a little bit sad. So this is the book launch of It Is What It Is, Surviving Domestic Violence. I am your host. My name is Winston Duncan, and I'm a book confidence coach, and I help to work with women like KikiDee who want to tell their stories, write their books. So I also do courses and online training to help you get your story out. And I'm a #1 best-selling author, actually, twice over. I'm a #1 best-selling author. So I'm not sure where KikiDee's gone to. She's probably gone to get some more tissues.
Excuse me, I had to attend to them.
But before you go, could you just give us your website, please?
It's www.KiDe, KikiDee.simplesite.com.
Lovely. So you can also put that in the chat as well, and then I can share it in the networks. There will be a question and answer session at the end, so you'll get to speak to KikiDee directly as well. Any closing words before we move on?
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate this. I thought it's going to be hard, but it was actually a walkover.
We're not finished yet, so let's keep going. So I believe okay, thank you very much, KikiDee. So we have got Mummy in the wings who is here. And, you know, as a mother, we do want the best for our children, and we want to see them flourish. And today we're able to celebrate with KikiDee on the triumph of this amazing feat, which is to actually write a book. So if you can unmute your mic for me, please, Mummy, and then we'll get you to come on in and have a talk. So just press unmute, Mum. Do you want to just unmute your mic? Just press it. Unmute your mic.
Mama?
Yeah, you're muted, so we're not going to be able to hear you. KikiDee, help me here.
Mama? Can she hear me?
She can hear you. Tell her to unmute the microphone.
Unmute button. Unmute button.
See where you got your good looks from, girl.
Open up on the microphone.
She's just got to press unmute.
Can you not unmute her?
Not if she doesn't press unmute, no. Just press the unmute button, Mummy. It's a microphone. That's a red sign. And it just says unmute. It's next to the video sign to stop the video. Can you see it?
Let me try to call her.
All right, we're going to do some technical support and talk you through. It's the red microphone. Okay, cool. So we've still got a couple more guests. We've got coming up for you. And again, a question and answer session at the end. So while we're just trying to do a little sound check.
Mama.
Of KikiDee Watson's book. It is what it is. Please go and check out her website. Please go onto Amazon, get a copy of this book and learn about her story of how she is overcoming. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next guest while we're trying to sort out the mic for Mummy. Have we got Vince on the line? Is Vince on the line? Okay, let me just check with KikiDee. Just give me 1 sec. All right, KikiDee, can you unmute your mic? Is Vince on the line?
Did he come in?
I can't see anybody here saying Vince.
I did email you to say I haven't heard from him, so.
Okay, not a problem.
So if he's not logged in, it means he's not here.
Okay, not a problem. We'll move on then. Jimmy, we have your brother, Jimmy. Do you want to just unmute yourself, please, Jimmy? And come on in.
Let me try my mom.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hi.
How are you today? Yes, we can.
Very well. Just on a day out with the family.
A road trip. Okay, yeah. He's on a road trip with the family. Excellent. Right, so Jimmy, over to you. It is what it is. Talk to us. What do you want to say to KikiDee?
Oh, yes. First and foremost, big congratulations. She's done very well. I'm very super proud of my sister. She just, just the fact that she took the time to write the book. It wasn't easy because obviously, and she said that the story affected a lot of lives. I'm one of the lives who was affected. So, my sister just taught me a lot of things, like during her struggles, just trying to support her, and she taught me a lot of things about unconditional love, because it's like you want to. I had to be like almost wise to understand when you can and to understand that there's different ways of loving somebody, because you can love someone by cuddling them, or you can love someone by holding their hand and then showing them the rope. But there's also that love where you have to sometimes let go and let the person find out for themselves what's really going on. Because my sister, I think, just being by her side and supporting her, she taught me that there's different levels of love like that. And it's all unconditional love, because you always have to support your sibling, no matter if you agree with their decisions or you don't agree with their decisions. With someone like us, she's always been a trendsetter. She's always been a trendsetter. She's always been the first to do things. So she's the first to write the book.
I think, Jimmy, I'm happy to say we've got, sorry, bear with me. I'm happy to say we've got Mummy speaking. We've got Mummy unmuted.
Oh, okay. No problem.
So I've got you. I'm gonna come back to you on conditional love. Is that all right, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's a very good point that you're making, but let's just quickly grab Mummy while we can. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, greetings, Mummy. Come on in, Empress. Come on in. Yes.
Hello.
Let's just add you. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
You, we can see you.
Okay.
Okay, so what would you like to say to KikiDee or Nicolette?
Well, I've just run short of words. I'm nervous. I'm a bit nervous. I would just like to congratulate Kiki, the publisher, everybody who's watching for this special event. Kiki, congratulations, my dear. God will bless you and everybody watching on this program. Thank you so much.
It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be nervous.
Can you hear me?
We can. There's a little bit of an echo, but we're just going to work through it. So, as a mother, you want your children to do well and to be protected and so on and so forth. So, what would you say to someone in a similar position, how they can support their child?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, Ma. Yes.
Hello.
I am talking to you. Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I'm saying to you, what advice would you give for someone similar going through as a parent the same challenges?
Okay. I always give advice to Kiki when she goes through those situations. She has to keep on praying. God will intervene. Just keep on praying. God will intervene. I know you've been going through thick and thin, but now you are pulling through.
Okay, so to keep praying.
God will intervene.
Well, we can see where you get your, we can see where KikiDee gets her good looks from. It's from you, Ma. Anything else? Would you like to say anything else?
I just want to congratulate on the achievement of the book. I never expected that from Kiki. She's been a good girl, very intelligent. So I think she'll keep on writing all those books.
Yes, definitely. It
Let's
does.
thank everybody who's watching.
So to thank everybody that's watching, You said to thank everybody that's watching,
Yes.
and well done to KikiDee for writing the books. You didn't expect that would be the case.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Queen Mum, for coming on.
Yeah.
We're glad that you got your microphone working. You can go and relax now and not be so nervous. Much blessings to you, Mama.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. I've been a bit nervous.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. So that was Mummy you just heard from, and sorry we had to interrupt Jimmy there, but we wanted to catch her while the mic was on, so I hope you do understand, but that's a mother's love, you know, supporting their child come what may. So we're going to come back to you, brother Jimmy. Thank you. Let's come back to you now, so unmute your mic for me, please sir. Okay, so you were bang in the middle of talking about unconditional love and the relevance and the importance of unconditional love. So let's just pick up from there, please.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, nice to see you, Mommy. Good to see her here as well. In full support. That's beautiful. Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is just, that my sister kind of taught me, kind of made me wiser in terms of support. Because I don't know if you guys have heard when people say it doesn't matter whether it's a family member or a friend, if they're stressing your life, you should cut them off, things like that. So obviously, you know, I've never, just dealing with my sister's situation and understanding things are going up and down, going through rough times and all these things. And then you try to give advice, and sometimes the person may not be in the place where they can take in that advice, or they not might be seeing where you're coming from at the time. So sometimes you feel like, you know what, maybe I should just cut the person off. But what I've learned from this situation, my sister, is that you have to speak with family regardless of even if the situation is too tense and it's too difficult. Because at the end of the day, you're in it together. If she's down, no matter if you're high up, if you know that your sister is down, it doesn't matter. It still affects you mentally. So it's better you just stay close. At least you know, I might not be able to help her everything that she needs, but she knows that if she needs me, I'm there. And that's all I try to be for her, and just try and make her understand that, you know, I might not be able to readily help you with everything that will make you understand your situation or help you with the alcohol, but I'm just here for support if you need me. So that unconditional love I'm talking about is difficult, but being with my sister for like these 5 years, you kind of understand, you know, like it kind of made me understand that you kind of have to be there for family regardless of how difficult the situation may be. And I'm proud that, you know, the outcome now is that she's managed to come out of it. She's written a book, which is also self-therapy in its own. And I'm super proud of my sister. And I wish her an amazing.
Oh, have you frozen, Jimmy? Anyone else seen he's frozen? Or is it me?
No, he's frozen.
Oh wow, he's probably in a black spot area. I think we've got another writer in the family, KikiDee. What do you think? Very articulate man. I totally agreed with what he was saying, and he was talking about, you know, we're in it. It's family, isn't it? We're in it, come what may, thick or thin, good or bad. We are in it together. So with that articulation and that understanding of compassion, because I definitely sense some compassion from him, that kind of support is the level of support that we need in our lives when we're trying to recover. Excellent. Beautiful. Well said, my brother. I hope you can come on back in. Now, is Brother Evans here? We've got another brother waiting in the wings. Brother Evans, are you here? Please unmute your mic, make yourself aware.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I was saying, where is he? Where is he? Hold on. It was had a
Right
different
here.
name.
Sorry?
So you had a different name, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, what's
Okay,
the name
please,
showing there?
maybe the surname. It didn't say Evans though.
Yeah.
Okay, please take the mic, sir. Please, what would you like to say to your sister on this momentous occasion?
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate Kiki for the great work that she did. Confessionally, I'm still in the process of reading the whole book. I'm actually a slow reader, so pardon me on that one. But I actually know, because we always talk every day, so I know what is coming in that book. So we always talk. I mean, I always encourage her. I know sometimes she goes into some dark spaces and stuff, which is part of life, yes. So we always talk every day, and I always try my best to encourage her in whatever she's going through. And I know sooner or later she'll be 100%, because I know the KikiDee that I grew up with. And actually, I would appreciate, you spoke about putting this book into a movie. I think it was around 1994 she acted in I'm the Future or something. Yeah, that was the movie that she acted in. And I would appreciate watching something like that in this book. It is what it is. So yeah, it'll help us slow readers again. So yeah, I really want to congratulate her for the good work. And she just has to be strong. Okay, she's here. So Kiki, you just have to be strong in whatever you do. Keep focused. Nothing in life comes easy, and nothing is 100%. Ups and downs do come through, and we are here to support each and every day of your life. Prayers are up, and I would like to thank Mom for being there every time. We always keep you in our prayers. Brother Jimmy is always there. Sister Tatenda, she's always there. And even if we do have a group for her, for us as siblings, we do have a group that we always talk about our issues and stuff. Sometimes I'm at work, Jimmy's at work, Tatenda's at work, and she needs someone to talk to. It's not like we'll be ignoring her. People will be busy. We need to take care of our families and stuff, but we're always there, and we'll call it back like sooner or later. We'll always be there for her. So that's what I'm saying. So to cut it short, I would like to encourage you, Kiki, to keep it up, keep the high spirits up, and keep that positive mind all the way up. We'll get there. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah.
That support is truly, incredible and honest. And this is the thing, people have their own lives, got things going on, and we must be empathetic to that. As an addict myself, I used to think the world revolved around me. And if you weren't doing what I wanted, how dare you? How dare you not pander to my every need? But you got to understand that I wasn't well. The drugs in my head it just wasn't there. I used to be a very angry woman. Very angry woman. And until I got out of the victim mode of oh, poor Winsome. Everyone feels sorry for Winsome. It's not Winsome's day, everyone pat Winsome on the back. Until I got out of that victim mode and responsibility, my life was not to open up. But until I did that, that's when I began to make fundamental changes and to be slow to temper and to listen first. Why do you think we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth? Listen first, So there are people and professionals. We're putting together a form that can go on, to support for psychotherapy and all of those things. There's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be ashamed of at all, at all, at all, at all. So KikiDee, the tears don't stop. How you feeling, my lady?
Oh, I don't know.
Numb.
It's
So
just
you're feeling numb.
overwhelming. It's the support is just so overwhelming, to hear my family speak that about me, They've always, like they're there. And like Evan says, they're at work I phone him, he's not picking up. Tatenda's not picking up. James is not picking up. I'm going in a frenzy. You know, they do come back, but it's when I need to talk, I need to talk. But they are always there. Every time I know I've got this, my brother's in London, I'll get the bus, the coach straight to London for the weekend. You know, my brother in Namibia, he'll pick up the phone, he'll talk to me. My sister, she'll pick up the phone, she'll talk to me. My mom will talk on the phone, you know. We are just a tight knit for support. Like you said, everybody, you know, we got lives. So,
and also as well, you've got to understand that, you know, our condition is one that, you know, only someone that was a weed head could understand me. Only someone that's an alcoholic can understand you. And that's where we got to take the pressure off our family and get support ongoing until you know.
I did put my family through a lot. I accept that. And I actually do want to apologize. You know, like what Jimmy said, I'm one of the people that that, you know, that was affected by it all, because when it all happened, I had to go to London and live with him. So
because we're hypersensitive. Do you see what I'm saying? We're hypersensitive and we take everything personal, but that's just the traits of who we are and where we've become. So now we've arrived at the question and answer session. And again, I've put in the chat, if you're a family member dealing with a loved one who's an alcoholic, definitely go and check out Al-Anon. They're around the world and there's lots of meetings online, and get support for yourself. You know, don't suffer in silence, and go to at least 6 meetings. It's free. You don't have to pay nothing. Go and get some support for yourself so you can be better equipped to support and listen to KikiDee going forward. I definitely would advocate that. That's a free service. All right, so we come to the question answer session. We are nearly at the end. Oh, now the end is near. This has been the book launch of It Is What It Is, Surviving Domestic Violence by the beautiful, talented KikiDee. And we're going to now over to you, so you can put your hand up, you can unmute your mic, or you can just give me a wave. And if you would like to answer a question. Okay, Christina, I see you, girl. Yep, go for it. Unmute your mic for me.
I've unmuted the mic. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hello, my darling.
Hello, darling.
You made it.
Just wanted to say, we've only touched here today on issues so small that are actually going on with you, and I can't believe you've survived all of this. So to see you here today, it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing, because there's so much more than we've managed to talk about today, and it's just a small part of what you've had to deal with. And I'm just so really proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm really, really proud of you, because I don't consider myself a weak person, but I think I may have given up. At some points, but you're still there. You're still hanging on. I just think you're amazing. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And
See you Monday.
You just keep on doing what you're doing, because so many people will benefit from reading this. And you touched on something so he loves me, so he punches me in the face. Oh,
yeah.
You know, we love our children, don't we? Can you imagine kicking your baby in the face and then saying you love them? You know, if only people could, you know, women could get that. But I am so proud of you, Kiki.
Thank
I
you.
really am. And I'm glad to be your friend and to know you. And I read a lot of the drafts.
This
Do you
woman here
remember?
has been so amazing. She supported me at a time when I was really low. Like, what stranger does that? What stranger sends you money? Someone you just met for 2 weeks, you know, in a place where they know that if I go, she's got nothing. She needs me. She goes out, she lives here and there. She makes sure, you know, even if it's just a tenner a week was, you know, she did that, you know, and wow, you know.
It was my pleasure because when I
You
met
are
you,
amazing. You are amazing. She read half of my book, not this one, the other ones. So she kind of knows.
I do know, but we
Yeah,
met under very difficult circumstances, didn't we? A time when it was difficult for both of us.
yeah.
And I feel so privileged to have met you and to be your friend, and I'm glad we've stayed in contact.
So am I.
It's
You've
been
proved your
amazing.
friendship today. You're here.
Christina,
course.
we'll have to put you down as editor in the next books then. We'll have to get you down as editor. And I mean, you know, I saw you there in the background, and this is the kind of love and support that going forward KikiDee will need, because, you know, this is her story and there's just so much work to be done to change the landscapes and the stigmas around domestic violence, I feel personally.
Absolutely. And thank you I want to thank all of you for supporting her, because it's been really rough. She has had a really, well, anybody who knows her knows, she's had a really tough time. And, you know, there in life, we do find that we have many, many acquaintances, but not so many friends. We know lots of people, but when push comes to shove, there's only you know, you can count on your one hand. So she's been very, very lucky, and she's got a lovely family. I can see that. And thank you too for helping her with this book. Thank you to everybody who's helped her. It's I'm really glad that she could do it. She needed to do it. She needed to say it. It's fantastic. So I just want to thank all of you for looking after her.
No problem. Thank you very much, Christina. We just lost you there, KikiDee.
Yeah, I know. Come back. You know, my internet.
You bounce back.
I
All
bounce
right.
back.
So who would like to unmute? This is a question and answer session, or just to congratulate. Do so now. You can unmute your mic, give us a wave, put your hand up, and we will go to you. It's definitely a family affair. Oh, we got Jimmy back. Jimmy is back. He was given some partial. Let's just quickly. We're just going to quickly close his sentiments. Jimmy, there, quickly on mute for us. He was giving us some words of advice and encouragement. In your absence, Jimmy, I said that you should write a book. You're very articulate, and we need to get you putting down the story, because
Please don't tell him that.
he does. He has that compassion and that understanding. You know, everyone's going through everything. But your last closing words were something like you was inspired. So do you want to just close your sentiment?
She knows I'm very inspiring. That's why she's still stable. I'm only joking. Just now, like, you know, we've supported each other. That's a good thing about it. So I don't even know where I got cut off. So
You were saying about that she was an inspiration. You were just congratulating her, and you were.
Oh yes, I was just saying. I'm very glad that she managed to do the book, and I think this is the icing on the cake of all the troubles that she went through. And I was saying that writing the book is also therapeutic. So I think you know, she can kind of start letting go of the many things that she's been through. But part of letting go is also taking accountability and forgiving yourself. And I hope that, you know, in time she can forgive herself and just look forward, because she's an amazing person. You know, like I said, she's always the first. She's a trendsetter, always the first to do something. Now she's the first to write this book. So I'm super proud of her, and I can only wish the best for her for the future. And I wanted to thank you as well, Lyrical, for helping her. You know, I don't know if you heard that part. But
Yeah, I did actually. I thought, do you know what? I looked at you and I'm thinking, I recognize you, but it's not clicked into place yet.
That's the brother I was telling you that that's who introduced me to you. That's who
Oh
told
my
me about you.
So hold on, have you got a stage name?
Oh well. God
Say it
bless.
again. What's your stage name?
Delta.
God bless. We met you. I don't know if you still remember Zeke and his brother K-Row, the Dreadlock brothers, and it was a whole bunch of us. But we did some work together. It was a beautiful day.
Whose brother? I recognize these names.
That's who told me about you.
Oh,
It's a small
bless
world.
him. Bless
It's
it.
a
It's a small, what, look at that. No wonder you're so articulate. He's
James,
part
where's
of
the book?
crew. Wow, look at that. Look at that. My goodness. Thank you so much for introducing me to this dynamic woman.
James,
Thank you very much.
where's the book?
What's that?
Where's the book?
I can't hear you.
Where
Where's
is the book?
I'm driving. I don't have no book.
Ask Christina.
Huh?
Ask Christina where the book is. The children book.
Oh, okay. She left it at home.
Oh. Trust my
Okay.
brother. I told them to show the Popcorn House book.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you so
He's
much
put it
for
on
supporting.
Facebook though. He's put it on Facebook on his
Okay.
page.
So I'll go back and connect because I don't think we're on our Facebook. But thank you so much, Jimmy, for coming on and connecting. And I'll definitely follow you back. It's been an absolute pleasure. And big up your status. Salute. Salute. Small world. Small world. Oh, sorry, I muted you. I muted you. Say that again.
Oh, there's the book.
Oh my gosh. That looks like it's on Instagram. Wow. He's got a copy of my book, The Popcorn House. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to bring another edition coming out soon. So we'll let you know when the second one is on its way. It's going to be called The Popcorn House, The Rise of the K-Bots. The children have written it. Oh, I'm so touched. That was the first book that I actually went to #1. And if you look at the back there, that yellow cover is the new cover.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, that's the new cover. See? So you've got a collector's item.
You've helped my sister. You've helped my sister now. So keep going, keeping on. God bless you, and thank God for you. So I'm very happy you guys connected and produced something beautiful. And we're gonna keep creating and producing things that are beautiful.
Yes, please. Yes, please, brother. Yeah. And now that it's coming back, you was also down at Brixton, isn't it? We had an event in Brixton Park. My gosh. Look at that.
I'll
now
be
it's
there.
coming back to me. I had no idea. I had no idea. God bless you, brother. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Take care. Anyone else want to come on and congratulate this beautiful woman? Anybody else? Or you want to answer questions? Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. Someone speaking? Anyone else?
Hello, Kiki.
Say your name. Say your name, please.
My name is Phyllis.
Phyllis.
Yes.
My darling, I can't
Hi,
see.
sweetheart.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You made it.
I made it.
Thank you so much.
Darling,
I appreciate
darling. You made it.
I did.
I just want to congratulate you, my darling.
Thank you.
As I said before,
yes,
everything, it's a season.
Yes.
82 years ago, that's the last time we ever saw each other. Yeah. There was a reason why we had to separate like that. Now here we are. We are a star now, a celebrity. You made it, girl. I told you when you were 10 years old that, Kiki, darling, we are going far. Here I am saying it again. We are still going to go far. You beat that. You beat that. Okay? You beat it. Through God's unlimited grace. You did it, sweetheart. I'm so super duper proud of you, my darling. I just wish you were near and I'll hug you. I love you so much. You make me so proud. You are awesome, my dear. You are truly wonderful. Do not cry. God loves you. You have shown the world that you don't take shit. You do not take shit. You do not take that. You are a strong woman. And show them that we are still here. Kick them. Kick their butts to the curb. Yes, girl. I love you. Congratulations.
That's my girl.
Yes, yes. Oh,
she's the one that told me that I started writing at 10. I didn't know that. She said she used to correct she says, what happened to your book you were writing? I said, when? She says, when you were 10. I was like, okay.
You had a 10-year-old editor write your book. God bless you. Wow. So Phyllis, I can see the joy in your face, and something cultivating at such a young age.
She's a long lost relative. Like she says, 32 years.
The power of the internet. Where do you want to see your sister here, Phyllis, take this?
Right to the top. She's going to be the next John Collins, if I can say that.
Oh.
The next Francine Rivers, if I can say that. You know, all those great authors. That's where we are going, darling. That's where you are going. The Kenny Folletts and all those people, the Daniel Stills. Woman, you have made it. You have made it. And they are still going to make it. They are still going to make it. If God gives me grace and I'm here on earth, sure, I'll be reading your books. Believe in me. I'm your super #1 fan.
I know.
Love you so much.
We'll talk after.
Yes, we'll talk.
Okay.
We all need a friend like Phyllis in our lives. Thank you, my sister. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, Ms. Winston. Thank you so much.
You're
God
welcome.
bless you all. Bye.
Bye-bye. I can see the pride that is on her face. Wow, look at that.
The message she left me was just amazing. Like, oh my God.
And you deserve that. You deserve that. You're worth that. You're a polite woman. You know, when we've worked together, you are very focused. You didn't want to work with anybody else but me.
Yeah.
You were adamant. Yeah.
Even when Ruth came in, remember when Ruth came in?
Yes, I do remember when Ruth came in. It's like, who's this woman?
Put her on the phone. Put Winston on the phone because I don't know who you are. Sorry, Ruth.
It's like, and look at them, they're best friends now.
That's just me.
When Ruth
always forgiven, always forgiven.
But it's all good
my family will know. They understand.
It's a great synergy, us three working together. And what I love about Pastor Ruth is that she just has such a compassion for people. Probably she's more better than I am, to be honest. I'm just so overwhelmed at times. So to have her and you working together was needed. And now that you've forged that connection, and I'm sure you would agree, Pastor Ruth, that going forth, KikiDee, no matter what, must just continue. Whatever life throws at her, whether it's illness, whether it's death, whether it's travel, whatever it is that life is going to take her next, know that she is in the divine will of her life, and that whatever she does, she must continue on this journey. She can't stop. She can't give up. She can only build her strength. Wouldn't you say that?
There's no stopping me.
To share with her when we had our in-depth conversation, when we was just talking around the journey. KikiDee, I'm going to share this text with you that I shared. I'm going to share with you openly now on your launch that I shared with you when we spoke, and it's found in Esther. It's found in Esther chapter 4, verse 14. And those who are with her story, it says Esther 4, verse 14.
Yeah.
It says, for if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arrive from the Jews from another place, but you and your family's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? I rephrase this. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will come from another. And I know that you're not going to remain silent. We have prayed and we're saying that you are not going to remain silent, that you're going to be a voice of those who have gone through domestic abuse. You've shared your story. And as you share your story now, relief is going to come to others. So keep on this journey, because we know that your journey, that God has put you on this planet for such a time as this to share this story.
Beautiful. So now we're going to hand over to you, KikiDee, to now close and say your thank yous and say your last words to everybody before we leave the event.
I just want to thank everyone that came today to support me. It means so much, so much. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time, been nervous, but you've made it easy. Professor Zindi, thank you for representing me. Thank you for taking the time to read my book. I appreciate that. Ruth, the journey we've had, the support as a pastor, I will always cherish that. And I know this is not the end. It's only the beginning. Everybody, Mom, I appreciate you for being here. Honestly, from deep down, I appreciate you. Thank you. My family, all of you, thank you for your support over the years. You know that things have not been easy for me, but you were always there to pick up the pieces. But I'm here now. I've reached where I needed to reach. I'll be all right from now on. Thank you. I appreciate you all. God bless. Be kind to one another. Hear someone, listen to somebody. Somebody comes to you with a problem, just listen. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the book launch of It Is What It Is, Surviving Domestic Violence. And I have been your host, Winsome Duncan, also book confidence coach. I've left the links in the chat for you to go and purchase the book. I will also email those out to everybody as well. And just get the word out. Let's just get with us, you know, a mustard seed. We can just grow this message and begin to highlight a subject that people don't talk about. Remember, please remember to also leave a review. That's really important, because when you leave a review, it helps her to get higher up into the Amazon algorithms and the ranks and so on and so forth. So please do go and read a review. I'm actually going to do something quite impromptu on the close. It wasn't planned, but the spirit has taken me. This song is called This Little Light of Mine. So if you know it, you can do sing along. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Woo, 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 join in. This little light of mine,
Tate, go.
Let it shine. Let it shine.
let it shine.
Let it
Let
stop,
it
but everywhere I go, whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Oh, everywhere I go, whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Everywhere I go, whoa, whoa,
I'm
gonna let it
shine,
shine.
let it shine,
Let it shine.
let
let
it
it shine. Oh yeah.
let it shine, let it. I do you stop, stop, one more time. Let it shine,
Let it shine. Let it
Let it
shine.
shine. Oh yeah.
Woo! Woo, woo. You did it,
Thank you,
girl.
God. Thank you, Jehovah.
You did it, girl. Well done, well